Bow down before my psycho power.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This video is part 2 of the Tekken 8 chapter preview breakdown. I did a video already where I tackled the cutscene between Jin and Kazuya. That fight scene was so intense and there was so much in there that perfectly highlighted each character and their journeys through Tekken so far. You had hints of Jun Kazama and what she means to Jin. You had a little bit of Victor in there as well, some Devil Jin, some Ogre. That was so perfect and I dedicated a video to that. But in this video, it gets so spicy, which is why I wanted to separate the two. We're going to be tackling the character exploring the caves, looking at all these demons and gods and World War II pictures and photos. There is so much to dissect here. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Like and subscribe. Let's do this. Now, this part is really interesting. There's a lot of speculation about who this character is and what this character is doing. You have Leo's dad being thrown into the mix. Maybe this is a new character. Some people think this is Eddie. I do not think this is Eddie. It does not make sense at all for this to be Eddie. Regardless of who this character is, what they're doing is very important. In Yoshimitsu's bio, it spoke of a underground like cave of sorts. This may be the same location that this character is visiting. When Yoshimitsu went down there, his sword tried to corrupt him and take over his mind, so maybe Yoshimitsu passed that information on to this person and they're exploring it for him. Maybe that's not what's happening, but I'm just mentioning it because the only other reference of this kind of cave-like thing that references the Mishima Zatu, the Devil Jin, was Yoshimitsu, right? But let's get into it. So you have this light here being flashed on a cave. Obviously, this is Azazel. You have some people here, they're bound down, and then you have two Devil Jin creatures. I don't know if they're actually this tall or if this is just like saying just like how bigger they are than humanity. Here's where things get really interesting and we start to dive into the background of the Mishima Zaibatsu. This person here holding a sword with this kind of like cool hairdo, fighting a 1, 2, 3, 4 like 8-headed dragon. You can also see some tails back there. This directly relates to Japanese mythology. This is Susanoo, the god of the storms, and the creature that he's fighting is Orochi, which has 8 heads and 8 tails. This creature is basically a great serpent that wraps around Japan, a Jormungandr type of situation. I did some research to try to figure out why these two were fighting, and it really just seems like the typical, you have a super powerful monster and then you have someone who comes around and slays that monster. In my research, I couldn't find anything definitive that happened between the two to give us an indication of where this is heading in terms of Tekken. But yes, as you see here, the victor in this is Susanoo, the god of the storm. Now, a lot of people were speculating that this person basically passed down their god powers to the Mishima Zaibatsu because god of the storm, electricity, the Mishima Zaibatsus, their electrics have electricity. Electric wind god fists. Is that what the developers are going for? I don't know. But something else that's really interesting about this scene in particular, if you look at the names here, this person here, the producer / assistant director for Tekken 8, is actually the same person who worked on Dead or Alive. The Dead or Alive community spotted this name and they're going crazy with speculation and ideas. If that's not the unification of fighting games, I don't know what it is. But let's continue. Here you have another Japanese god. This is also depicted in Reina's stage. You have Fujin. This is also another god of the storm. Definitely not as powerful as Susanoo, but still very important because you have statues in the Mishima Zaibatsu and so on and so forth. But notice here you have many different people. They're all dead. And this god is basically raining down havoc. What I'm about to say will make sense in just a second, but quick theory. These gods of the storms could be the people who give the Mishimas their power, but basically I think they may also pave the way for them to rise to power. They wipe out their enemies, but then also gift them with the power with a small power of the gods, electricity. It'll make sense in a second when we start talking about the Japanese family crests and whatnot, but I just want to throw that out there because you have gods attacking people and we don't have any indication of who these people are yet. Next scene, you have people here, samurais actually, fighting a Oni. Now this person is actually a devil gene creature, but the face and the hands more so look like Oni than a devil gene creature. And if you go back to Japanese mythology, once again, these Onis was basically the cause of many deaths, many disease, many people going missing. So in Tekken, they're going to make these demons real and also related to the devil gene. And then these warriors, these samurais, are fighting them off. So you can kind of see a little bit of the lore that's being built up. Now this part's really interesting here. Remember when I was just talking about the Japanese crest? This is where we get into it. Here you have the Mishima Zatu. We're all familiar with this, but around it you have many other different Japanese crests as well. I think some of these are real, but then some of these are not real, so it probably depends on which family gave approval to be in Tekken or not. But this just once again goes back to the roots of the Mishima Zatu. It's not just a company, it's not just an organization. This is a long lineage, a long family clan, because in Japan, bro, the family crest is very important. Like, it's basically like different clans and different factions of samurai and just powerful people who rose up over the years and transformed themselves. Mishima Zatu in the world of Tekken is being added to that. Here's another really cool thing as well. So this is a map of Japan, and you have many different family crests all over, basically marking the territory. The Mishima Zatu is kind of close to the heart of Japan. It's a little bit south of Tokyo, but the location of it is still very important because to its left is Hiroshima, which is one of the places that was targeted by a nuclear bomb during World War II. Once we start talking about Jinpapi in just a second, you will see how that shaped his perspective being so close to that location. Here you get another interesting moment. You have this scroll being rolled out. Now I do want to highlight that this is the narrator or whatever doing all of this, looking at all of this stuff. This is all the information this person has collected. I just want to point that out. Now, on the back of this person's neck, you see a Japanese family crest. Once again, this is the members of the Mishima family. And I do want to highlight once again Yoshimitsu's bio in all of this. It says, after analyzing the information that his clan members have gathered, Yoshimitsu was led to an old underground cave. Legend has it that the Mishimas once used it for exorcisms. In the recesses of the cave, Yoshimitsu discovers the archives he's been looking for. The fact that they're going back this far to basically the origins of the Mishima Zatu and the devil gene and how these two things became intertwined is so fascinating because it's the origins. Never before have we seen it so clearly. You also got to talk about the Kazama clan, how they factor into this. You also got to talk about Kazumi's clan, how they factor into this. So much stuff here will be tackled, and I'm sure we'll see it from so many different angles and perspectives. Here's where we talk about a very interesting one, Jinpapi Mishima. When Jinpapi steps in, it's kind of like the era of World War II. In World War II, Jinpapi, as it says here, Mishima Heavy Industries began aircraft production. He basically transformed them into a global empire that we see dominating in Tekken 7. Through World War II, Jinpapi basically amps up the military production, builds a lot of aircraft, builds a lot of equipment, and he transformed the Mishima Zatu into something it was never supposed to be. As you see here, it says tensions build between top Zaibatsu Mishima and Nakamaru. This is what I was talking about earlier when I said this god is attacking someone. And I think they're doing it on either behalf of the Mishima Zatu or working for them. Now let's get back ahead. You can see why. In one image here, we see the Mishima family crest. In the other image here, we see some weird crest that has a horse over it and it has a diagonal shape. It is saying here that the Mishima Zatu is feuding with Nakamaru. These two are butting heads over the World War II situation and the rise of military force with the Mishima Zatu. Here we get some old World War II style footage. 10th anniversary Mishima Heavy Industries. You can see planes, so they're basically in full productivity. This part is really interesting. Here you have that same family crest, the horse with the over the diamonds, and it's burning. You have a plane here that's crashed in water and it's destroyed. You have a flag raised very high in the sky showing that the Mishima Zatu won the battle, but two, they did this. They crushed their enemies and they came out on top under the rule of Jinpapi Mishima. it flash forwards to what's happening now. You have the Mishima Zatu being this powerful military, because it basically catches us up to now, right? We know what happens after Heihachi dethrones Jinpapi, and then he goes and turns it into even more of a vicious, corrupt organization, and then Jin gets involved, Kazuya gets involved. But this section here really gives you a clear indication, even though there's a lot of confusion when you go back to the samurais fighting demons and onis and Fujin, Sasano, that's still pretty muddy. But the part here depicting Jinpapi's rise and the Mishima turning into this global powerhouse is very clear. It then shows the introduction of G Corporation. It puts these two head to head. Mishima, G Corp. What does it say? Conflict intensifies. You have many different cutscenes from past Tekkens. The narrator or journalist is looking at all of this. Casualties increase worldwide. Now we're getting into Tekken 7. You see that whole entire building destroyed. This is what Heihachi did to try to kill Kazuya. It backfired. It didn't even work. Here is what I was talking about. Way earlier in the video when I was criticizing Paul Phoenix for not getting involved because San Francisco is destroyed, this is it. Serious damage around the world. You have the Golden Gate Bridge, historic landmark for humanity. Behind it, the whole city is wiped out. How does Paul Phoenix in Law not be motivated by this in some way? Maybe join Victor, maybe join Claudio, I don't know. And notice, I don't know if this is happening right now because you see all of these things falling from the sky. I don't know if those are satellites like the ones Kazuya just shot out the sky, or I don't know if this is some other event, but only time will tell what this truly is. It cuts to black. Heihachi Mishima is missing. Now, a lot of people were jumping on the board that Heihachi is still alive. You had that to start. The first thing that Li Xiaolan said, it's been 6 months since Heihachi's been gone. Then you have here at the end where you have this newspaper Heihachi missing. So in Tekken 7, you gotta remember, the narrator that we all hate, his role was very important. He was basically telling the story of Heihachi and basically giving like his final message to the world. Once he was dumped off with Lars, the next thing that Heihachi did was challenge, let's do this, challenge Kazuya Mishima to a fight. And this wasn't some secret event that no one knew about. Yes, the Violet system was using like drones and satellites to spy on this battle, so it wasn't being broadcasted to the world. This was really only something that they were able to see. But notice the journalist is right there. He was witnessing this whole thing, and you would imagine that they would have saw this whole battle through to the end, and then they would have saw Heihachi be thrown into the volcano. So saying that he's missing after you saw him die and be thrown into a volcano, I get it. The whole meme, Heihachi always rises up. I'm just saying that it doesn't make sense for them to say it. They saw what Kazuya did. Literally, like I'm fast forwarding to the end, like literally we see they say Heihachi's gone and now it's up to you, Jin Kazama. So why would they at the end of Tekken 7 see Heihachi fall, he dies, and then they're like, oh, he's missing. It's like something that they're doing just for the audience. I think they're really trying to hype up Reina's reveal, and I understand that from a storytelling perspective, but the narrative that Heihachi's gonna like emerge once again is kind of ridiculous. And here's the part here where the narrator is recounting his story of what happened in Tekken 7. The death of Heihachi would have been typed in this news article as well. But if you fast forward here to at the end of Tekken 7, you literally have the characters say, this is what a world is like without Heihachi. Jin, you're the one who sent this world to hell, so it's up to you to fix it, bring it back. So basically, it doesn't make sense for them to be all of a sudden acting like he's missing. I think they're just saying missing instead of dead because it gets people talking about the story. But I think Heihachi, at least for Tekken 8, is truly dead, and we won't see this guy resurrecting. This is who it's going to be about. Kazuya Mishima and basically his journey throughout. I don't know why people are so interested to see Heihachi return and take over the story again. Never have we ever got a full game just focusing on the mind of Kazuya Mishima, what this character wants and what this character is going through. People are stuck on like, what's Heihachi gonna do? What's Kazuya gonna do? That's what I'm thinking. What's Jin gonna do? That's what I'm thinking. Then you have this person, they leave out of the room and they're basically like on a plan, on a mission. What this character will do, who this character is, I don't know. I'm interested. I think the story will be excellent. And in this video, I just wanted to break this down because there's a lot in here. I know this was a long video, but that's it. Thank you for watching. like and subscribe, and bye bye.